What is it about love that makes people so fascinated? A netizen responded by telling the truth first. That's most of our love. Essentially an illusion. From fear. Share a true story that I have experienced. It was this experience. Let me start delving into psychology. It also reveals the truth of emotion. I met a goddess when I was in college. One day this goddess asked me for something. Said that the man in the group tried to add her on QQ. She failed, didn't pay attention either. So the man applied again and again. The goddess asked me to tell her not to disturb her anymore. She knows I know that guy. I was considered one of this goddess's licking dogs at that time. The goddess wants something from me. Of course I have to accommodate. What kid is so ignorant? I did as the goddess asked. I expressed it tactfully to the man in private. The goddess doesn't want him to continue to love him. Then I found out. It turns out that the goddess didn't just bust me, he also found a few others to do it. How did I know this? Because one of them, I told that guy directly in the group. In short, the final result is to let everyone know about embarrass the man. But one of the men did something very special. He went to help the goddess again, but in a different way than those of us. This man is the protagonist of this case. From now on I will call him the hero. How did I know this male protagonist? The next day, the goddess complained to me that a man was sick. This man is the hero. The goddess showed me what the hero told him. I will tell him. But please don't get me wrong, I'm not doing it for you, but for him. You could have done it when he applied to add you. Click to reject, and reply with the reason for rejection. But you didn't do that. Instead, choose to use a third party. I'm the only one I'm looking for. You want the whole world to know about this. You deliberately embarrassed him. So I would advise him to stay away from people like you. The male protagonist's reply. Stand directly on the moral high ground. Perform dimensionality reduction and tap. Because everything he said makes sense. But something magical happened. About 2 months later, the goddess is with the hero. This incident made my scalp numb with shock. I could not understand. Why is that person obviously suppressing and scolding? In the end, he defeated the licking dog on various conditions. I can't say I'm better than him, but at least he has good looks and height. These hard indicators of economic conditions. I'm always better than that male protagonist. But in the end, the goddess chose to hurt her male protagonist. And less than a year passed. They broke up. As for the reason for the breakup, cliché. Inconsistent personalities. Inconsistent outlets. But the goddess told boredom with each other, they are together, etc. The goddess's love for him is so real. Since this incident, I began to think about the nature of emotion. Later I found out this is not a special case. Many loves happen. They all seem to follow a certain routine. For example, a quiet girl will stay with the gangster who bullied her. Or in various movies and TV the male and female protagonists are hostile and later they were together again. For example, in Our Dying Mood, Cheng Wei and Qin Shaojie is originally an almost sworn enemy relationship. In order to embarrass Qin Shaojie, find a reason to throw away the food heap. After being severely scolded by Qin Shaojie, Cheng Wei found out that he fell in love with him and confessed to the other party. In order to understand the mystery, it took a long time. Study the works of academic psychology. Discover the many phenomena have been explained by predecessors. Study Freud's theory of the unconscious, Adler's teleology, Maslow's hierarchy of needs with his theories of motivation and personality. 9 palaces. There are also various psychological effects. Better understandings of how our human brain works. Now let's go back and review the above story. What happened in the beginning? The above case. Motivation can be used to catalyze, to explain these to psychological concepts and the triggering principle. A simple review is as follows. Although the goddess is very angry, but actually unconsciously trapped in motivational catalysis, and the double psychological trap, stopping the podcast. He tries to argue that it's because he's afraid. He was originally an almost perfect character in everyone's eyes. Now because of this, let people discover his disgraceful side. He will be worried. Such negative impressions will spread. This is motivational catalysis because such ways formed his driving force. generated motivation. The motive is to maintain his almost perfect personality. And now the decision on this matter lies with the male protagonist. Because of this powerful motivation and driving force, prompting him to submit to this man, Cyan consciously became dependent on. The goddess originally expected that everyone would cater to agree to his request, and he's used to it. And now suddenly someone chooses not to cooperate. It has been argued in the article, the closer to a perfect person, the stronger the expectation that others will cater to oneself. According to the expected effect of the stronger the expectation, the higher the pain when expectations are not met. In order to get rid of pain the goddess caused by the expected effects of discontinuing, so very eager to correct the facts, make it meet your expectations. This forms the dual motives and driving forces, causing him to try to convince the male protagonist, trying to make the male protagonist the influence of the above two factors. The final effect is the goddess is very eager for feedback from the male protagonist. You see, the key is, at the beginning, the male protagonist implanted a motive into the goddess's subconscious mind. This method, far better than the method we use to lick dogs. The way to lick a dog, it's an attempt to work on the surface consciously. Use reason to convince the other party how excellent you are, how to obey him, you should be with me, etc. This approach, motives can never be implanted in the subconscious mind. And in this story, what is the motive behind the implantation of the goddess? It's the male protagonist who puts the goddess in pain. Dopamine state can be described. Let the goddess fall out of her comfort zone. This gave the goddess the motivation to correct the facts you discovered in this story. Interesting facts about emotions. The truth. Maybe most people never realize it throughout their lives. That's the feeling that makes you fall in love with someone. It's not actually happiness. The pain. Not a sense of satisfaction, but a sense of longing. Happiness will end soon, because once a person is satisfied, I don't want anything anymore. In a delicious meal, there are also times when you are full and can't eat anymore. People who are in pain, not seeking satisfaction, but relief. It is the search for liberation, formed a strong driving force, and as long as it remains in this state, the thirst for liberation will never end. And once you put the cost in, you will sink even more. Entered a vicious cycle. Is it difficult to understand? Doesn't matter. I will tell another story next. And the protagonist of this story, it's you. Here's your story. See if I have any way. You didn't feel anything when you first met him. Feel how special he is. He looks just like ordinary people. Although not ugly, but it won't make you feel amazing. You are in the same group as him. But there has never been an intersection. But suddenly one day, he came over and told you seem to be more interesting than those people. Maybe that's not the original story. The original words may be because you seem to be very humorous. You seem to be more talented than them. I think you should be a very thoughtful person. Wait, why did he say this to you? He is actually a green tea who is well versed in psychology. Certainly. Now we have a god's perspective. Can see all the truth. But you inside the bureau have no idea about this. Or maybe he's not. He just wanted to find someone to complain about. Maybe unintentionally, or maybe it's out of politeness. I said this to you, no matter what the truth is, it will not affect subsequent development. What he said, become the first trap that leads you to the abyss. First crumbs. When a person hears positive comments about him, will instinctively try to prove it with practical action. The other party's evaluation is correct. This is a psychological trap that everyone easily falls into. This trap is called the Pygmalion effect, also known as Rosenthal effect or expectation. Give the other party some kind of tall personality and constantly strengthen this awareness to the other party. The other party will try to maintain the persona in your mind and constantly willing to do something for you. Take advantage of this effect. He is in your subconscious, implanted for the first winter, but you didn't notice it at all. This may be the first time you have received such a comment. Only then did you realize that you are not completely transparent either. Someone will notice your shining point. So you instinctively use practical actions to prove that what he said is right. In order to thank him for his appreciation. In order not to disappoint him, you start to show off. The brain starts to work at high speed in order to meet his expectations. Let him see how interesting you are, your humor, your talent. He finally smiled and looked at you with firm and ambiguous eyes. This is your first reward. You successfully proved yourself. Is this feeling better than completing a game? Or it would be much more intense. To win a few games of glory of king, you You begin to desire to repeat this process, even if you don't notice it at all. But in the subconscious world, the seeds of addiction have been planted. You start interacting with him, keep working hard, just to get the next reward. Until one day, you see him interacting with other members of the opposite sex. You see that familiar smile, and those firm and ambiguous eyes. It's just that this time, he's not facing you, two other people. You start to doubt yourself. Are you in his eyes no longer the funniest person? Could it be that he was just acting on occasion? He says the same thing to everyone. Why are you so lost? You clearly haven't lost anything. Expected effects of stopping. This is the second trap you've entered. The second crumb before the abyss. This psychological effect is about what really determines people's emotions. It's not the results of the fashion. It's like you won $1 million lottery. But I found that I accidentally lost it. Didn't win the lottery with you. The result is the same, but the former will make you so depressed that you think you should be the most interesting one in his mind. Do you think you already have a place in his heart? This is what you expect when you discover what you have always believed in. It turned out to be just an illusion, a bubble. You'll be desperate for factual correction. Is the fact that it meets your expectations. And this time, he is the only one who can satisfy your desire. You know all this might be a trap. It's an illusion. The rational side of your brain keeps telling you, stop investing your energy into this kind of thing. There are more important things in this world. But you can't. Even if there is still a glimmer of hope, there is still a glimmer of possibility. Maybe you still have that place. No matter how slim it is. You are like a shark smelling acupuncture points. Can't control one's brain. Here your motivation is strengthened. Because classes are expected effect, so that you are now in anticipated unfulfilled dopamine state, and his recognition can bring you back to a positive dopamine state, different from the first time. The first time you are in a normal state, receive his attention and recognition, and go into the positive dopamine state, and this time you're in a dopamine high. So the difference becomes larger. His one recognition make you feel much happier than the first time. This difference can also be called tension, and that's the key to addiction. So in order to get his reward and work harder, finally you fell into the last trap. It's this trap that makes you step into the abyss. This trap becomes a gambler. The more black hole people pay for something, the more eager you are to get rewards. And when the reward doesn't come, people cannot face their own effort. Meaningless reality. So I will choose to pay more thirsty, falling into an ever-increasing vicious cycle. He doesn't have to do anything. Your motivation, it will be continuously strengthened by your dedication. The reason why black hole is a black hole, because once you enter the range of his gravity, I can't escape if I surround you. It will only accelerate from now on. He has a puppet like you. Every time he feeds, let you like a breath of fresh air in a drowning state. Your whole life revolves around him, like a drug addict. No longer care about everything around me. It seems like I just need to pay a little more. Just need more attention from him. You can temporarily escape from the quagmire of low self-esteem. Why does he look so ordinary? That he became the most special person in your eyes. Just like the wine is obviously so bad to drink. Some people can't live without it. Coffee is obviously bitter. Some people just can't put it down. Yeah. It's that damn dopamine again. Dopamine affects your judgment. Interfere with your senses. Just like an alcoholic. I think that bottle full of wine, it's the most eye-catching thing in the world. Is he really that good looking? He's not even your sexual fantasy object, isn't it? Look at this whole story. So far, I didn't even use words like love. But every one of your feelings has been corrected by me, isn't it? You said you like him. If you fall in love with him, think what is it that you fall in love with? Is it him? You are obviously in this world. The one who knows his evil and ugliness best. Why can't you leave him? Look back at the beginning of the story. All this can be avoided. You'll choose every step of the way. Are you really the one choosing? Think carefully. All the thoughts and motivations in your life. Did you really generate it yourself? Still implanted. Why do you have such an aesthetic? Why do you have such a preference? Isn't it the collective subconscious that infected you? You only focus on yourself. Pay attention to the small piece of breadcrumb and moved myself for the footsteps but didn't see where you were. A maze built for you by others. You thought you could find a way out by following the breadcrumb, but actually it leads you deeper. All human behaviors and conscious, there is a motive behind it. In fact, it's all related to fear. It's just that most people don't realize it. Because the goddess is afraid of losing perfect fear of facts not meeting expectations. So I have to rely on the male protagonist. Because of your fear of not getting rewarded for your efforts. Fear of facts not meeting expectations. Fear of falling into the quagmire of low. So I have to rely on him. Because those who are hurt, unable to face one's own meaningless reality. So I fell into the black hole of paying for scumbag men and scumbag. Because workers are afraid of the uncertainty of the future. For that stable salary, even if it's just a drop in the bucket. So I had to obey the advice of my scumbag boss. Because girls are worried about future insecurity. So she is more likely to be attracted to the rich. Because everyone has a generation seen as aliens. So they all hid in the crowd. Dress yourself up to be like the people around you. Behave like the people around you. Even if this is what I hate in the first place. Just like the policeman in The Little Prince. Once someone applauds him, just bow to the people around you with contentment. Everything he did didn't bring him any benefit. Just to get applause from others. The so-called carrot and stick. That is, once you master a person's desires and fears, then you can easily handle someone. This is a terrible truth. Save one's life. Most of the effort. In fact, we are not seeking satisfaction, but looking for relief. However, precisely investments may be farther, and farther away from the love that most people experience. The reason why you keep giving to him and getting deeper, it's because of fear. Fear of his neglect and abandonment. The meaning behind it. It is precisely because even if you are together, can't go far, because your emotions themselves are based on the wrong foundation. You didn't choose a man of gratitude. You chose him because you were unwilling to do so. So we embarked on the path of self-destruct. Whenever someone asks me, how do I love my ex the way I love him? Where is the person I will answer simply like this. You just need to give me the object. I gave him all the PUA principles. Make him be like your ex. I'm hot and cold to you. Play hard to get. I will snub you and suppress you from time to time. Be passionate about you and then stay away. Make you fall into endless self-doubt, constantly switching back and forth between positive, make you negative dopamine but don't give you anything in return. Let you generate a gambler's black hole. Having affairs with other members of the opposite sex. Like a scumbag man and the scumbag triggering the expected effect. And loss of follow this set of operations, guaranteed to make you feel like the scumbag who hurt you before. Girl falls in love with him like can't stop lusting after him. But is this what you want? You want your life? That's all. Are you driven by the ego that symbolizes animal nature? You want to keep this strong love forever? Then you'll never get it. Or let it hurt you forever. But is this what you want? Remember when we were kids, facing toys in shop window? Are you rolling around and begging your parents to buy it? However, you will soon get tired of playing. Always fall in love with new toys. In fact, we have never changed. We are still such giant babies. True love mentioned above. They were all double quotes. So true love. What is the other side we are pursuing? Let's look back. What is the tragedy that caused all this? Why are we afraid? Because most of us live in the eyes of others. We work hard, but not to live the way you want. It's about living how others want you to. It is precisely because we tend to fall into the quagmire of low self-esteem. Give gratitude to the wrong people. You have to realize what you fall in love with is actually a phantom, a bubble. What you call true love. In fact, he is in a state of find a life-saving straw. You want to get real true love. First, make yourself the person who deserves true love. Can only appear between two mature lives. Appreciate each other, cherish each other, be grateful to each other. You want to get true love. First of all, you have to become a person worthy of true love. The so-called wise man does not fall in love. It's not that I really don't know how to see through the emotional truth of the colorful world. Understand what you really want. So I learned to control myself. Stop yourself from obeying your own impulses. No more external demand. Instead, seek within. To see myself. See the heaven and the earth. No longer live in the eyes of others. No longer care about others. But be true to yourself. Live yourself. Everything you long for. How long has it been since I remember? There's obviously a hero living inside you. How long has it been since you last talked? Do what you want. Go choose what you want to choose. Go and stand where you stand. Not to cater to someone. Not to win the applause of others, but for yourself. Only in this way, only then will you get rid of low-level emotions. Choose the option that is beneficial to you. Only in this way, only then do you have a strong soul to be grateful. People worthy of gratitude. To love someone worthy of love. Finally, I would like to quote a line from Time Travel. As an end, when I reach the end of my life, we are mostly similar. We will all grow old, telling the same story over and over. Spend your life with a kind person.